Welcome back to the locker room, your weekly netball chat where we talk pretty much everything and anything. We're sometimes a little bit formal. Majority of the time it's very cash.
I love that you're like, sometimes we're casual. As I sit in my car on the side of the road, it's obviously off. I'm not breaking any rules, but the traffic from Melbourne to Geelong tonight was not good. So I just thought, why don't we sit and talk to my bestie about netball?
But round 5, Kels, let's go straight into it. It delivered some really tight margins, some milestones in there as well. And I know we've kind of said that the top 4 is kind of really shaping itself out and the bottom are showing that maybe they're just not quite as good as the top crew, but the weekend showed maybe it is anyone's competition.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting round. We were definitely wrong about the Thunderbirds, the Giants. They found some form, which makes me so happy. I love this for netball, for SSN as a whole. That's what I love about it. And that's what we want to see across the course of this season as well. We want to see bottom teams beating top teams and getting close and challenging them. So, plenty was happening.
Yeah, round 5, I reckon it was probably the closest. So many tight margins, as I said. But let's have a look at the results. Swifts 59 to Vixens 66. It was pretty much just one of those high quality New South Wales versus Victorian clashes. It kind of lived up to the expectation I think we were all hoping. Swifts hadn't shown a lot of consistency. They had massive outs, Helen out, Sarah Clout out. But you know what? Grace White, welcome to the chat.
Oh, she was amazing. I was doing the SEN game and calling that, and I was not probably expecting. I thought that it would be a good tussle just because I know that these Vixens Swifts games always manage to roll out something special. I don't know what it is. Regardless of who's on court, it always seems to be relatively tight. So impressed with her. When the screen flashed to Helen, Sarah and Paige all sitting on the sidelines, all internationals losing a lot of experience off the court, I just thought, oh my goodness, what are they going to do here? Grace White and goal attack and her connection with Grace Wecky. We have been critical of the goal attack position. I think Grace White is definitely a future diamond. She wants it. She understands the game. She has the thing that I like about her the most, and it reminds me of a Kim Green, and she never lost it throughout her career. And I think it's something that sometimes you can lose very quickly, is the ability to just turn and pass and look and have the confidence to keep taking risks. If you have some turnover games, some high turnover games, sometimes you can go back into your shell and lose your spark. Kim Green never lost that. And what I saw from Grace White was, regardless of if she made an error, she still kept going to that risk-taking behaviour and the pass. So I love that from her, and I hope that she builds that confidence in. It's all right. It's still there. Kudos to her.
Yeah, I totally agree. And whether she's in wing attack or goal attack, she turns, she sights Wecky straight away. She's a threat under the post. So why not get it there quicker? But you're right, that confidence piece, like that's a huge thing for young players to be able to come into this league, show that they're really capable to go, you know what? When the game's in the balance, I want the ball in my hand. You can't actually train that. You've either got it or you don't. On the Vixen side, Kate Maloney, MVP, Sophie Garvin, 47 goals, and Kira Austin, I mean, she shows that she is just the super shot queen when it comes to clutch moments. If a young shooter needs to know how to handle hard, tough clutch moments as a goalie, you just got to watch Kira Austin. She really wipes that emotion. She just is there. She focuses on the process, and the outcome and result takes care of itself. Once again, for the Vixens, there's undefeated. Same with the Adelaide Thunderbirds, 56 to the Giants, 54. Now, the Giants really pushed the Thunderbirds. Sophie Dwyer was outstanding, shooting at 100% accuracy and controlling the attack end. Now, I've been critical of her the last few weeks. I love it, Sophie. Nice to have you here as a listener. But one game, I love that she's really starting to stand up, but what I'm still critical of is that she's still one-dimensional in the one position, and that's where I'm still unsure where her Commonwealth Games selection will be. But I love the fact against a really tough defensive unit and against international defenders, she was like, you know what? I've still got it.
She stood up, and the one thing that we do in the locker room is we definitely give credit where it's due, and I am right there with you. I've been critical of Sophie Dwyer as well, but I think that performance was outstanding. Now the challenge is, Sophie, that we've seen what you can do. We've seen this over the years. She can put together formidable performances. Now do it week in, week out, week in, week out. And that's, I
Mm-hmm.
think, the difference between, say, a Kira Austin, where Kira Austin, we've seen her have shaky quarters, but then come out and set it alight in the second half. We don't often see Kira Austin be bad for an extended period of time. And if she is bad, she's bad for 1 week and the next week she's dominating. So I think if she's the benchmark at the moment, Sophie, unbelievable game. And you pulled the Giants along with you, alongside one of my favourite recruits of the year. And there's been question marks over her, but I just love it. She's a mature aged player getting her debut season. Casey Adamson, you and I have been in programs with her. Well, I certainly have, and she just works very hard behind the scenes. So I thought standout performance from her. She really held it down in the middle. And yeah, I just love seeing this from Giants, and I love seeing the smile on Nerida Stewart's face as well, sort of towards the end. Yes, disappointing that they lost, but she seemed ecstatic that they were there and abouts.
Yeah, and it showed on their social media. They obviously showed like them in the locker room after, and her being like, that is what we have been asking for. She was unsure of how the contest was going to go, but was so proud of them being able to put it together. And that's what you want to see, growth week in, week out, even if the results aren't coming. Georgie Horger stepped up late and had a huge final quarter. We did see a little bit of the 2-point strategy for the Thunderbirds, but do you know what? I actually want to see Taylor Williams in wing attack more. I don't think the Frew combination with Vandenberg is as solid as when Georgie's in there and Taylor's on the line. I want to see more of that. Lightning, 53, Mavs, 62. Now, the Mavericks secured, obviously, the win. Were they convincing for the whole time? Still a little bit patchy. Defensive pressure from Bruce and Berger were good. But what was your take on this game, Kels? Because the Mavs, they had to win this game. This was like definitely a scalp they needed to get. But what was your take on their performance?
My take is I'm so incredibly wrong about the Lightning this season. And I'm ashamed to admit that we're how many rounds in. And I've just had such high hopes for them. I'm getting a little bit nervous for Belinda Reynolds. It's not coming together for the Lightning. And you know what? I can't pinpoint what it is either. Why are the pieces not working? I think it is a credit to the Mavs. And can I just mention from the Mavs point of view at the moment, say what you will about Jez Murphy. I know that there's a lot of opinions out there about whether they like his coaching style, whether they don't. I think it's all more erring on the side of like he's a calm, really extremely positive coach, and that's what people like about him. But there have been a lot of question marks around the choices that he's made, especially in the goaling end. Kudos to the Mavs. I've never seen anything like this across any sport ever. Tune into the Mavs. They've got Ask the Coach. I actually don't even know what the segment is called, but basically they've put him in front of a camera and you can ask all the hard-hitting questions. His openness, willingness, and I know that behind the scenes he has been telling the Mavs girls, you know, if you want to get more of a profile, and if you want to make sure that netball is growing in the way that you want it to, you're going to need to do these interviews and you're going to need to be transparent. And he is leading from the front in this. So I can't mention too much about the game, but I'm just loving what's happening off the court with the Mavs and their transparency in asking the coach the hard questions, because we can talk all we want on X and we can read all of the opinions, but now they've given you an avenue to get right to the source.
Great to see a different take on things. And with a team that still has a lot of those players that played small minutes at other clubs but have come on and now are starters, that takes time for them to build that sustainability and like match fitness at that level. You can do as much training in preseason as you like, but nothing replicates the season, but week in, week out, being able to do it. But Mavs responded under pressure, regained control in the final quarter with composure and discipline. It's what we've been asking for them to do, and a really good way to close out a win after some really narrow losses. So we can see once again that growth with the Mavs, which is awesome. On your take on the Lightning, I actually do think that top four has started to shuffle. We've got Thunderbirds, Vixens, Fever, and Mavs are right up there. Lightning look like they're struggling, and they have all the pieces. It's just not utilizing it at the right moments or the combination. We're trying to keep everyone really happy. And it's like we need to take some hard conversations. Fever 58, Firebirds 54. Huge milestone for Romelda Aitken-George, celebrating her 250th national game. She has been around for so long and such a serviceable player in whatever team she has been in, whether that's the Firebirds, Swifts, Thunderbirds, now Fever. Don't you want to just find that Romelda Aitken-George and have them for 250th National League games, spanning over 19 seasons? My body aches, but kudos to you, Romelda.
I just think it's a time to reflect on, remember when she came into the league? And now if we've got young listeners, you won't remember this, but let me tell you, she came into the league and she was, in the nicest way possible, I can say this, a freak of nature. The way that she could split, the way that she could leap, the way that she could jump. Now, we hadn't seen a Gretel Tippett yet, so we weren't privy to that style of netball, but she was the most athletic thing that had come into our environment, into ANZ at the time, I'm pretty sure it was. I just think I reflect back on that, and she did change the trajectory of how SSN goes. 250 games, one of the first Jamaicans within the SSN, and now look at us. We are spanning so many countries that are coming out. We are the Premier League in the world, and I think she has a lot to do with that. She was one of the first to make the leap, so I think we've got to give Romelda credit for where she has taken this sport, especially here in Australia. I think we often look at people's last couple of years and maybe they're not what they were beforehand, but Romelda is putting up unbelievable numbers still now in her 19th season, but also do not discount what she has done to make SSN what it is now. So Romelda, from us to you, congratulations, because you are SSN. You have been the fabric of netball in Australia for a long time. So great to see you get there.
Here. Yes. West Coast Fever did hold off a late challenge from the Queensland Firebirds. Olivia Wilkinson back, which was great to see. Obviously getting in some super shots there. Zoe Kransberg, player of the match. Now, talked about her combination with her sister over the last couple, but she was fiery in there. Obviously, sad to see Alice T. Neald with a back. I'll be interested to see whether she plays this week, to be honest, with a long flight over. But good to see the Firebirds really competitive, putting up some late challenges. Well done to the Fever. 4-point win over the Firebirds. Now let's recap your blinder of the week. You are flying out in front with yes and ticks. You did say Riley Batchelor to have a standout performance against her old side. Now, how are you finding that? Pass mark?
Riley Batchelor did not set the world on fire in that game, but I will just rally for a little pass mark for me because she played a solid game and the team won. So, you know, you can't ask for any more. Going up against your old team, you really want to take away that win. Do I think she set the game on fire? Absolutely not. But do I think she's building into a very solid player for the Mavs and she's a critical part of why they did win? Yes. So there's my blinder.
I'll give you a pass mark. Once again, that's a tick for you. Being on the other hand, I went for something that I thought was just going to be an absolute...
a shoo-in.
I thought I was going to have a shoe-in here and I said Thunderbirds would break another record. Well, they didn't. So I'm still sitting on 0 blinders, I think. So if anyone's a betting person, never put your money on me for this section. But you know what? As we mentioned before, Giants, I love that you proved me wrong. Trending netball news, massive one this week. Fox obviously broadcast rights will be finishing at the end of the 2026 season. 9 is coming back into the picture. I think netball is about to step into this new era that they're talking about, locking out major 5-year deal. You're thinking SSN, Diamonds Games, Netball World Cup in Sydney in 2027. It's going to be back on free to air. And I think that's what netball fans have wanted. They want to be able to see all their favorite netballers, the best players in the world, playing on their screens every single weekend. It's more eyeballs on netball. Stronger reach for women's sport, serious step forward for the future of the game. Really exciting news for netball, and I think this has been bubbling in the pipeworks for a little bit, so it's great to have an announcement and great to know the direction of netball.
I couldn't have said it any better, and the only thing I will add to that is what makes me most excited about this announcement is a 5-year deal, and I think I can speak for all of the players when I say this, that a lot of the contracts had to be in alignment with the broadcast deal, so players cannot lock in much security beyond 2 years, 3 years. For the last few broadcast deals, and to see a 5-year commitment to Nine and to the players, I'll be really interested to see what happens now with everyone coming off contract. It's going to be chaos again. One of my favorite parts of the year is when the movements all start to happen, and there's I think it's scary for players, but for fans, there's really nothing better than everyone being off contract and teams being able to start again. But for me, I'm excited to see if we see any 5-year contracts. I'm excited to see if we see any really long-term ones, and if teams start to commit to players longer or if they stay with the 2 years. But I think the girls have earned the opportunity to at least have some stability and some security in their life. So, that's exciting. And that side of things is what makes me the most happy for the players.
Yeah, do you know the last thing I'll say on the players' contracts, though, as you said, it can be stressful for players because you don't know where you're going to land, but it gives you the best opportunity to go and chase your dreams and chase the opportunity. Even like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, it was such a risk to move your life interstate because the financial support, and there just wasn't much benefit to it. So it is the best time to be able to move around, as scary as it is. But yeah, a 5-year deal. Wow. That could be on the cards. Who would you give it to if you could?
How old's Jamie Lee Price now? I feel like my answer for everything is Jamie Lee Price. Something that really impressed me on the weekend, and obviously she's been the player that has had the most impact on Almere Thunderbirds, but my 5-year deal would probably go to Erin O'Brien. And whoever is giving that contract out, I don't know if it's Giants. I don't know if she needs to go into a different environment, but she's still very young. And she did. She had the most impact on the most informed goal shooter of the league at the moment. So maybe my 5-year deal would go to her.
There's some real youngsters in there that you'd want to lock in for future club and team success. One thing I did ask about last week, I said I want to bring in some new segments. Local legends, I posted it on our socials. If you would like to showcase one of your local legends, it's volunteers, it's parents, it's the people that are there from dawn to dusk. They do absolutely everything. They do it for free. They're the reason your local club has heart and soul and ticks along. Without them, you wouldn't survive. We want to showcase them on here, on our socials. So please slide into the DMs for the nethub.app and tell us who is your local legend. I'll send you through what your submission needs to be. That will be coming up soon. The other section or segment I wanted to bring was Minute with Madi. And I've kept it to the minute, Kelsey. You'd be very, very impressed here.
Well done.
Thank you. And I've really started quite hard, and I've gone with Hannah Mundy. So I'm asking her 10 really fiery quick questions. Here is a minute with Madi with Hannah Mundy. Name, position, and team you play for.
Hannah Mundy, wing attack, and the Melbourne Vixens.
All right, Hannah, minute with Madi. One word to describe your playing style.
Dynamic. My strength.
Hardest opponent?
Jamie Lee Price.
What's your pre-game hype song?
At the moment, Talk of the Town by Fred again.
Love it.
Yeah.
TikTok or training, which wins your attention?
TikTok.
How important is fake tan on game day?
So important.
What brand?
Baddest bod, 2 Hour Express, sleep in it 2 days before.
Most underrated training skill or drill?
Oh gosh. Yeah, footwork, yeah.
What's one thing people don't realise about your role on court?
That I have to call the centre passes to Kira Austin, who sometimes can't hear me, so it's really tricky.
Go-to recovery ritual after a big game?
I like to go to a recovery centre with a sauna, ice bath and stuff like that.
And finish this. I'm at my best when?
I'm having fun. Woo!
Fake tan. She gives you all the brands. She talks about her favourite song, Talk of the Town. Talk of the Town is also my son's favourite song. You and I know that. We've charged around my kitchen. So a great song there, Fred again. I love that, Hannah Mundy. But let's have a look at round 6 preview. Now, 2 teams remain undefeated. Vixens and the Thunderbirds. It's a blockbuster. It's going to be Saturday night. But first comes the Firebirds and the Swifts. State of origin. But then comes 7 p.m. Vixens, Thunderbirds. It's a clash we've all been waiting for the last 5 rounds. Then you got Mavs and Fever on the Sunday, as well as Giants and Lightning. I think we know what our game of the round is going to be. Vixens, Thunderbirds. Who have you got, and who's going to be your blinder?
I think I'm going to go with the Vixens here. Thunderbirds have been on shaky ground the last couple of rounds. They were challenged by the Mavs, and then they were really challenged by the Giants. The positive for them is that they've walked away with 2 very ugly wins. I just think the Vixens are actually firing at the moment. And the best thing about the Vixens is they won also being challenged by the Swifts. But I think they're really finding their groove. So my pick for that is the Vixens. My blinder, I don't want to go the obvious. We could say Kira Austin. We could say Kate Maloney. But I'm going to ask for a blinder from Jo Weston. Now...
Woo!
I'm going to ask Jo Weston, what can you do on Lauren Frew? How quickly can you potentially get her benched? How quickly do they have to go to a Georgie Hodges? And then I want to see the human backpack on Georgie Hodges.
I do love it. I do love it. My blinder is going to be Kate Heffernan. Now, I know people will be like, oh, but Kate Maloney. I love Kate Maloney. I want it to be like the JLP Kate Maloney clash, where they're both kind of nullifying each other, but I want it to come down to the nitty-gritty wire. You and I both said Kate Heffernan was going to be our international that was going to come and set SSN on fire. I've seen her like consistent. She's been here and there, week in, week out. But like you said, shaky territory for the Thunderbirds. I think she is their answer to providing that stability, especially through the center. I want to see intercepts. I definitely want to see, maximum feeds, that supportive role to a Georgie Hodges. I'm going to say Kate Heffernan for the blinder. Something tells me Vixens will actually do it, but I'm going to say Thunderbirds by 3.
Oh. Go with whatever you need. Yep. And you know what? At the end of this round, we will really figure out where the blinder's sitting.
Got no track record. I just got to throw anything out there. We might have to give double points later on in the year if I've got any chance of winning that. But anyway, that's it from us. I'm going to be on Sunday Mavericks Fever game. I really think that will be another great game for the round, because that could be, 3rd and 4th potentially. It's a great round of netball. But that's a wrap. Episode 6. Thanks for joining us. Hit us on the socials with your local legends, and we'll see you next week.